Hello and welcome to Lesson 1. The lesson in this video will hopefully help you understand what receptive communication skills are. Now let me ask you this question. Have you tried observing a baby? How does a baby learn to do something? If you answered through observation, then you are right. A baby picks up things from the things in its surroundings, the sounds, movements, and so on, by observing them. Likewise, when a person learns a language, he or she develops both receptive skills and productive skills. Often, in learning a new language, learning happens first through the use of receptive skills. Receptive skills pertain to a person's listening, viewing, and reading skills. For example, a young adult interested in learning Nihongo first observes through these receptive skills in order to imitate for the gradual mastery of that particular foreign language. Through the receptive skills, a person can decode the meaning to understand a message. Decoding in the process of communication requires that a person has the basic world knowledge to assign meaning to messages being received. If the knowledge is very limited, certain teaching and learning strategies are applied to transfer meaning. Traditionally, reading and listening have been considered receptive skills. However, because of the growth of audiovisual material since the 90s, viewing has been added as a receptive skill. Besides, even in the olden days, we decode meaning and learn stuff through silent observation or through viewing. We look or view at signs that surround us every day. For example, we look at the sky to know if it is going to be a rainy day. Sailors, travelers, and navigators look at the night sky and the heavenly bodies that their eyes could perceive to identify directions, patterns, and phenomena. Psychologists, empaths, and even readers look at even the slightest bodily changes to know how someone feels. We may not be aware of it, but actually, we use these receptive skills every single day. Furthermore, in some references, receptive skills are sometimes called passive skills. They are tagged as such because of the notion that these skills do not require much action to be done, and that it is not very obvious when a person do them. Also, users of a language do not need to produce language to perform reading, listening, and viewing. Instead, they receive and understand it. And so without doubt, it may often seem that there is no apparent movement when these skills are done. However, in reality, the process of meaning construction through the receptive skills contribute largely to the development of literacies to facilitate foreign language learning. Based on the input received by a person, the process of constructing meaning becomes continuous. As readers, listeners, and viewers, we are actually actively engaged during these receptive processes. For example, while we read, our eyes move constantly to skim, scan, or to really understand the meaning of a text. As we pick up inputs, we use techniques to construct meaning. One example strategy is the bottom-up view, wherein comprehension begins from the small pieces of information that are familiar to us that can help us to gradually make connections and to build and decipher larger units of information. In reading, this is applied when a person first starts decoding words and then moves to bigger chunks such as phrases, sentences, and eventually paragraphs. While in listening, the bottom-up view is applied when a person begins by first picking up sounds or phonemes and characteristics or aspects of spoken language such as intonation, facial expression, and gestures, and use these to build understanding, or comprehension of larger chunks. Now, the same steps happen in viewing. We at first pick up small signs from what we see or what we are watching to start making sense of what we are actually viewing. As we continue assigning meaning and connecting them, we move on to conclusions, new questions, or ideas that are actually products of metacognition. Now, although there are many other functions of the three receptive skills, in brief, these skills help us exercise our concentration, memory, and attention. Next, improve our use of language through, for example, imitation. Third, develop our comprehension skills. Fourth, facilitate our own ways of expressing. And of course, build our vocabulary. Certainly, reading, listening, and viewing are very important for us to communicate better as human beings. This is the end of my presentation or lesson 1. Thank you for rendering your time.